Sorry guys, I'm trying to put the camera up. Oh, the struggle is real. So I wanted to talk to you guys about something. I didn't want to do it this soon, but I was told to. So here we are. So welcome to Witchcraftin. I'm filming 2 videos for you this week. I wanted to talk to you guys about something I've been working with here recently. I'm an empath. It's been a curse and a blessing, and it's taken me some time to finally accept it. I told myself that I wasn't. It was in your head. I've told myself that you're not good enough to be an empath, like all this stupid stuff. And finally, I finally accepted it. It is what I am. It is how I can sometimes be in conversations with people and just pick up immediately on what's going on. It's not just their body language. It's deeper than that. I can even do it through the phone. And it can become very confusing. It's very hard sometimes. It's even affected me in relationships. I'll never forget this, and I feel the need to share this. In my last relationship, I remember a lot of times wanting to tell this person I love them, but I didn't feel it. And I'm not one to use that very widely. I've just gotten to the point where I will tell soul sisters and witchy sisters I love them, because for a long time I would not say that word to anyone I did not deeply, truly feel love for. Not saying that I don't feel love for these people. I do. I just thought that it was something that people should earn, and it should be very reserved, and you shouldn't share it with everyone. So it was odd for me to want to say that to this person. And I remember telling my friend, I was like, it's really weird. I keep wanting to tell him this, but I don't feel it. And they're like, oh, it's just the heat of the moment, blah, 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 blah. Well, finally it comes out, but he says it first. And he's like, I've been wanting to say this to you for so long. I just didn't want you to think I was weird. And then like he told me this occasion we were at, and he was like, I almost said it to you then. I really wanted to. And it was so funny because it was the same, one of the moments I was feeling it as well, like where I needed to say it. And it wasn't like we were in this big romantic moment. It was something very simple and stupid, just like we're sitting there eating pizza. And it was just, I remember just feeling this overwhelming feeling and out of nowhere. And I'm just like, what is this? And sure enough, I learned it was because of him. Sophie, Miss Sophie, everyone. She's been very on camera shy. Honey, can you give me a second? I'll love on you later. We have all night. And I slowly have learned that is something that's going on with me. And I've also learned that I need to take time to react sometimes, because sometimes the emotion can be so overbearing and so hard that I cannot separate it from my own, and I can take it as my own, as I was saying it there, because one, I didn't realize what was going on, and 2, it's just so overwhelming. There can be a mixture of emotions because of multiple people around. It's even gotten to the point where sometimes, because so many people want to help and plan other people's lives, that it has corrupted and messed with my mind when I have things that I want to do or achieve. And here recently, it was inspired very recently by New Age Hipster. She was talking about how she's a nerd with protection, and she's an empath as well, and how she wrote a free ebook, which I'm going to put a link to this video in the down bar for you so you can check it out, on how to protect your energy. And she said she really studied up on it really hardcore, and it has changed her life immediately. And while I'm watching this video, I haven't even read the book yet, honestly. Isis came to me and was like, I have an exercise I want you to do. And I'm just like, okay. And so I sat down at the altar, and she's like asking me these questions. Like, she's like, I want you to sit here, and I've kind of gotten a meditative state and picture, she just kind of like had me picture a place that I felt safe and true with myself. And at first I thought it was going to be a ball or something, because I knew what we were making. We were making a sacred space within my mind to protect myself from all these energies. And the guidance came to a gypsy wagon. This gypsy wagon had a door, and I seen myself running towards it, and all these just random people, it was just a collage of people coming with me, and I ran in there, closed the door, and they turned into like smoke as they hit the door. It just like they just bounced off and ricocheted off of it. And I get in this cabin, and there's books, and there's comfy couches, and there's candles everywhere. There's a little altar, there's a bed. And Isis is like, you are safe within here. Nothing can enter these walls. This is just your energy and your energy alone. Nothing can penetrate these walls. And she said, over here is your altar, and you can bring in and communicate and transport yourself to other places from this area, because no energy can contaminate this wagon. You can bring energies into this altar to work with them, so I could talk to her and bring her energy in, and, you know, other deities and such, but this is all my space. And I could just immediately feel amazing. And as I'm sitting there with this wagon, I see the wagon on the outside while I'm in, and I see Isis over the top of it. And sitting on the step was a black cat, which I knew immediately was Bass. And it had just been a place that I immediately put myself in to connect with. And since I have done this, I feel so much more grounded and so much more myself that it's so easy to express who I am. Sometimes there will be days where I'm just, ow, she has been tearing me up. Look, you can't even see it. There's this nice scratch right here, and she's been tearing me up, and she just did it again. Anyways, there will be days that I either am really quiet and reserved just because maybe somebody else's depression is on me, or maybe it's just the overwhelmness of the energies, or sometimes I'll just react so, no, I don't want to scratch no more, so spontaneously, that it's just because there's so many energies around that I'm just so like, like literally that's how I feel. And since I've had this, I can still be this spunky, exciting person that I am, but I'm more connected with the energy within me. I'm not feeling Janice's feelings. I'm not feeling Joe's. I am just right here. I mean, I can feel them, but they're not penetrating my zone. Does that make sense? Like, I can still feel that Jane is feeling a little put off and a little off, you know, or whatever, but it's not penetrating and becoming one with the energies within my person, within my sadness. Their doubts and stuff are here. Here's Jane and Joe's doubts. They're not within, inside my mind. And so I felt the need to share that with you guys. Even if you're not an empath, maybe you're just someone who is quick to take in other people's words and judgments, and you kind of let someone else guide and plan your life because of one, I think you should work on trusting yourself, but maybe because they're possessive, or you don't even realize you fully let them do it. They kind of do it in a subtle way of like, well, you could do this, but I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I would do that. You know what I mean? They have that type of energy. Does that make sense? Not that you can tell me, but you know, it'd be a great place to have something like that. It could be a room. It could be a house. It could be a cottage. It could be a tent. It could be just a simple spear that has a table. It depends on each soul. I've used mine, and it's been nothing but amazing. And whenever I start to feel overwhelmed or start to feel like my barrier is dropping, I immediately close my eyes or visualize in my mind's eye. Like if I'm at work, I don't want to be sitting there like, I just kind of visualize through my mind's eye the wagon, and I see myself going towards the door and opening it and feeling immediately that the stuff just gets whooshed off, and it's just me. It's just Windora energy. I hope this is helpful in some way, but I wanted to talk about it because of how much of an impact it's made on me just this week. It's just been this week, and I'm making this video, and I'm not a person who typically does that. I normally like to wait a month before reviewing or giving people insight on something I've done, because I don't want to give someone false advice. But that's how much it's made a difference for me on the inside. I just feel so much more able to trust myself and my energies. I feel even more connected to divine, to the deities. And maybe that is why, maybe it's because Bass and Isis are literally, their energies are there, but they're not there. If that makes sense. Like, I know they're there, but their energies aren't like encompassing the wagon. Bass is kind of almost like a guard dog walking around. Like, it was raining at one point outside the wagon, so she was inside the wagon with me, but she was just like curled up by the window. And at one point I had like given her an offering of milk in my mind's eye, and Isis, I had lit an incense, and it was going, but it was in the chimney, so it went out the chimney to her who is over the wagon, and her energy the way she has pretty much told me is encompassed in my intention and my energy to help withstand the impact of other people's, to help keep my barrier up, my protection of the wagon around it, to keep everything out. She's just kind of there for a booster, and of course to look over her daughter. So yes, and maybe that is part of it. I'm able to be more one with them, but they don't, like I said, their energy is just with, like Bass is just with Bass. Her energy is not like portrayed throughout the wagon. And Isis's energy is just like hugging the wagon, but she's not encompassing the wood. And you know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. But I have never felt this way, where I feel connected to my inner core. And I feel like, okay, I don't feel like, I know Isis is telling me it is time for you to start with chakra work. I've talked about chakra work, and on this channel I have made chakra discs, and she's like, this is why we made them, because you're going to start using them here soon. We were already thinking about that and working through that in my wagon experience. I was working at the altar with them in my mind's eye. And it's funny because I just rearranged them up here too. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I don't know if a lot of people think about that. Your mind's eye can be used for so much. You can make your own altar. If you cannot have an altar, you know, for me personally, I love having an altar. But if you can't have one set out, you can always see it in your mind's eye and portray it out. And you can make offerings and connect with your deities in your mind's eye. You can do magics in your mind's eye. You do not have to sit here and do it in this type of setting. You can literally see yourself doing it and become very much real. Mind's eye magic is amazing in my opinion. Third eye magic is amazing. And I really love it. And I use third eye magic. I'm not sure if that's the correct term for it, but that's what I refer to it as and say it is. A lot in my craft, especially when I'm at the altar. Every time, that's how I set up my boundaries. That's how I set up my circle. That's how I encompass and work with the candle magics, and how I put in my intention and how I see it. I visualize it. Visualization, working through the third eye, is so powerful. I think that is another very, very powerful tool for a witch, is visualization, and working through your third eye is so powerful. And anyone can do it. Some people, like me, I was pretty fortunate. It's been something I've been able to do since a kid, from my childhood, and it came very easily. That's how I was this only child, and so I would make up characters and visualize them through my mind's eye, and I was just very active that way, and it luckily stuck. And I was pretty fortunate, but there is steps. It's just practice. They say to get something small and visualize, stare at it, close your eyes and visualize it. Stare at it, visualize and stare at it. They tell you to start with something simple. So, you know, something simple could be my Joker shot glass. You know, there's detail, but there's not too much. So you can pick up the small details, learn, and then go from there. Go to something more elaborate after that and stare at it. This might be a huge jump, but at some point you'll be able to just visualize this whole card. You won't need the example. I know this is one of the cards actually I do it with. I pull a card almost every day whenever I'm guided to with my mermaid oracle. And when I get to certain points in the day, when I start to feel a certain way, I'll remember that card. Or the same with my month card. If I run into something, sometimes I remember it, and sometimes Goddess is like, remember this message. Remember this message. And that simple image is immediately shown in my mind's eye. Whoa, you hear that whistle? And I remember the message I learned and what she had told me at that time. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't mind getting into that more if you guys want me to. I'll try to. I mean, I can just go over examples of what I've done if you want me to. I'm sorry about the video going on 15 minutes. I didn't mean for it to, but I really wanted to share that with you guys. So I hope I get this up into the Friday. If not, I'll get it loaded up into Saturday. So peace, love, and light, guys, and I love you all. Bye.